Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. the man of the people. I love working for the fans of the Carolina Panthers, so I always say questions, comments, always the floor is open. Some people only say, they have the Panthers mailbag once a week. Panthers mailbag is 24/7 here, all right? So let me know what you all may want to know. Also, training camp, less than a week away. Going to be pushing for 10,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. If you already have, hit the like button. So today's video, going to be going to have to try to keep it maybe around 30 minutes. I like to be transparent and connect with you guys. My youngest, my 22-month-old, first of all, he had me up driving around Concord, North Carolina at 4 o'clock in the morning to try to get him back to sleep. Okay. And now I got to go get him from daycare because this kid has nosebleeds. That's just crazy right now. But you know what? We love the kids. But anyway, that's why we got to keep it to about 30 minutes. I think we may have a surprise guest today. But training camp starts in less than a week. I will be there every day. May end up missing a day, but then the plans are to be there every day. And if you like videos of Bryce Young throwing a rock, Mingo catching a shark, anybody, I'm the place to be. We'll have lots of video of that. So make sure you turn on those notifications as well so you can tune in. Let's give some shout outs right now. Let's see who we got here. We got the NFL kid. I have a lot of little surprises that are lined up for the season, fun stuff. I haven't started it yet, but I will say this. People like the NFL kid this week, I would reward you for your loyalty this week. We like loyalty around here. What's going on? 4 more. Appreciate you as always for tuning in. How do you guys like this office setup? The side angle. So like when I'm working, I'm looking right here, but then when I'm talking to you, I'm right here. Anyway, I do have a little bit more energy because of our guest host. I always like when I have guests. Who else do we have here? Marcos Cash, the NFL kid. What up, little homie? So the NFL kid is pop. Man, this guy. Hey, Shakid Bartal. Well, have you been? I hope you like the attempt at your lingo there. But anyway, I think my mic's a little hot. Mic's a little hot. I'll turn my mic down. I'm sorry, I got excited. Mic's a little hot. Check. All right, mic's not too hot anymore. So let's go ahead and get into this because that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to get some things done over lunchtime, just continue to connect with you guys, kind of have a barbershop talk, just kicking around some good conversations. So today's topic, I don't even know it by heart. Don't laugh at me. So I'm going to look up at the screen here and get it right in front of me so I can speak intelligently. Who is the most underrated player in Carolina Panthers history? Who do you think? As always, let me know in the comments if you missed the live broadcast, or if you don't have a chance to jump on here live, do that. But also, we're live for the purpose of you guys coming on the show. Let me know your opinion. So it's in the description, but as always, I'm going to put it in the comments right now. So if you don't have the link to join the show, I'm going to put it out there. This is going to be the link all the time. So if you ever forget, just put this in your bookmarks, text it to yourself, whatever. But this is always going to be the link for you to join the show. So if you're on YouTube, you'll see this pinned to the top. If you're on other platforms, you will just see it floating up, but you should see it in the description. I hate having two. My one earpiece is at the house. I need to get one for the office because I hate having two. I feel like I have to talk louder because of how you hear yourself. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and see who this surprise guest is. Who's that guy?
Man, it's good to be around town over here at the
Hey,
Charlotte Vibe today, right?
how's it going?
What's going on?
We had a comment from Shakid. He said that nice looking new studio, Chris. Still waiting for the follow back on Twitter. I followed you already. unless you created like 3 other accounts. Like when you first double check if you can. I really thought I followed you back when you asked because I know you sent me the message about getting a new account. And yeah, we don't mind following people, so let us know. We'll follow you back. And it's not a new studio; it's just my actual true desk. We have I won't say a pretty large space, but we have a studio recording area, which is where I usually go in the back. But just for efficiency's sake, I'm doing it right at the desk. But what's going on, Shecky? You know what, Andre? Before you tell us who the most underrated player is, I want you guys to think about some of these players here that I have on the list. What about Mike Rucker?
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Is that a good one? He's
That's a
maybe
good one.
overshadowed a little bit with Julius Peppers being around. Julius Peppers recently got into the Hall of Honor. Mushin Muhammad, I did want to have this guy on my list, but he made it into the Hall of Honor recently. So that kind of, you can't say a guy's underrated if he's in the Hall of Honor, right? I mean, I guess you could.
Right.
You could say he's the best ever, but we don't have that going on with Mushin, but he was definitely a really good talent for the Carolina Panthers. Thomas Davis, Jordan Gross, but he's again, another guy that's in the Hall of Honor.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot. Chris Jenkins.
Yeah.
What about Chris Jenkins, right? Defensive tackle.
Your name? Yeah, your namesake.
My
man.
namesake. He had some injuries that kind of hurt his potential a little bit, but he was good while he was here. Was he an All-Pro?
Didn't you have a run? Didn't you have a run-in with him one time?
Hey, don't talk about my run-ins with myself. But yeah, me and Chris have some funny barbershop stories for sure. Even the one time having a flight to
Right.
Charlotte, we were on the same flight together, which was extremely cool. And how does that happen, right? Anyway, one more, Deshaun Foster, maybe a little bit. Anyway, let's turn the
He's
tables
there.
to
Ooh, how about Chris Gamble?
Chris Gamble, another partial namesake, right?
Chris Gamble.
Partial namesake.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, go ahead, take the floor, Andre.
Something about those Chris's, man. Something about those Chris's. They just are all over the place, and they're versatile in their own ways. But yeah, I mean, those are a lot of good players. I mean, I'm thinking of James Anderson as well, who played alongside John Beeson and Thomas Davis for a brief period of time. But the name that sticks out to me the most is Jonathan Stewart. I think when you look at his career here in Carolina, it was serviceable. Yeah, he did have some injuries mixed in his time here, but to be the second part of the double trouble tandem, right? To have that, and then also have the ability to be with a guy like Christian McCaffrey and still produce and really be such a valuable member of the offense, especially in this. Well, I mean, he had the capability of not only being a power back, but also somebody who's shifty and quick. He may not be the fastest guy, but he was definitely serviceable in his position. And I think with him, he does not get enough credit for all the things that he was able to do in his time here. And, he was a mentor to Christian McCaffrey. And he was mentored by D'Angelo Williams because he was here prior to when Jonathan Stewart was here. So he had a lot of good influence, and he was able to influence arguably the best running back in the NFL right now in Christian McCaffrey. So I think when you think about the underrated players, the production value has to be there, but you also got to think about it. Did they truly get the credit that they deserved for the amount of production that they did? And I don't think Jonathan Stewart did, even though he had a lot to show for what he did on the field.
Yeah. I'm going to call Stu and say, hey, my co-host just said you're not the fastest guy. What do you think of that? But
Man, you're setting me up for failure right there, man.
Hey, he's not the fastest guy. He's not. Williams was definitely faster than him. Slightly longer career, I think, for Stewart, but Stewart ended up having more rushing yards than D'Angelo did. Does this fan base still like D'Angelo Williams? I feel like at one point it was like
do.
a love-hate with D'Angelo. Is that right? Or am I just dreaming?
No, at one point there was, but I didn't really see why. I mean, the guy is just a very outspoken personality, but I mean, I'd rather have somebody who's outspoken and direct than somebody who sugarcoats everything. So, I mean, I respect him for that. Some people don't, but personally speaking, I do.
Okay. So,
Just saying.
Forbo asked that we follow them, so I did. Hey, and for anybody that wants us to follow you, the easiest thing is just to tweet at us, hey, follow me. That way I won't have to try to make sure my eyesight, I don't wear my glasses on camera, but they're here. And I don't
Right?
want to type a O that should have been a G or something like that. So you should have a follow from me for more. And then Marcus Cash was about to say Chris Gamble as well.
Yes. That's a good one right there.
And I think you said Chris Gamble though, right? At
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
moments ago.
Oh, Richard Marshall as well. Don't forget about him. The guy
Who?
opposite of Chris Gamble. Richard Marshall.
Oh, that's a good one because I forget about that
Yeah.
guy. Okay.
He played, yeah, he was opposite of him in 2008, I believe.
Hey, and the NFL kid says flipping back and forth between this and Pantherology. Okay. Hey, as long as you're here, we'll take it. Right? Give us a like while you're here. Don't just watch. Be
That's a
interactive. At
new
least
word
give
right there. Pantherology. I like that. That
Panther.
should be
Yeah.
added to the that should be added to the dictionary right there. That's a good big word right there.
Hey, what about Brenton Buckner?
That's another good one right
That's
there.
Shaquille mentioned Brenton Buckner.
On the 2000, yeah, on the 2003 Super Bowl team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was before my time, but from everything that I hear about him, man, he was a force on the D line, just tearing through everybody, and was a space heater, space eater, whatever you want to call it. But he definitely gave people some nightmares prior to those teams lining up and playing up against him.
Good defensive tackle there. He had, I think it was about 5 years that he played for the team. Cool guy. I actually have a. It's funny. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to find it, but I have a picture of him with my son. When my son was like, obviously, this was about 15 years ago. He was smaller. He was a little kid.
Right?
He wasn't 22 years old, but um, yeah. So again, just some fun that we're having. Leave it in the comments. We don't have to, end the conversation here about any of these topics that we've been debating all week. And I'm going to say this right now because Shakid's on here, four more, a few other people. Hey, what I want fans, I want you all to pick the topic for tomorrow. All right, whatever that topic will be. I can't say whatever, but whatever that topic may be, me and Andre will talk about it with you guys tomorrow. The last day of Let's Debate. Let me know how you like this series that we did for this week, just leading up to training camp. And again, next week is tons and tons of sweat. So tons of coverage coming
Ooh,
to
it's
you
so
all.
close, man. I am excited. Hey, I'll tell you what. I know you experienced that Spartanburg heat, but I remember when I went a couple years back.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god! And that was like the first time I ever went, just like as a fan. That heat hits different. Like you could be out there for 2 hours, and it feels like you've been out there for the entire day. You were just pooped
Hey, I'm
after
waiting.
the whole practice is over. It's something else.
I'm waiting to get on somebody's Sprinter bus that's going to be driving back and forth from Charlotte every day, so I can take that ride and a little bit of comfort. So, if you
Right?
got a Sprinter,
Get some AC.
yeah, just let me sit in the back, load all my stuff in, and just hey, I'll go live the whole time we're going down there to continue to give you more
Right?
content if we can work
And
that
he'll
out.
be on his best behavior too.
Absolutely,
You know it.
absolutely. All right, so we got another fun one here that we're going to run through. Let's see if I can get it properly up. Would you rather have a dominant defense or an explosive offense for your favorite? I don't know why I wrote for your favorite team. Obviously, I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers. That's why we're here, right? Would
Yeah.
I rather have I'm gonna offensive? I'd rather have an
Oh,
offensive team.
100%.
Dominant offensive team. It's not saying like, hey, is the defense gonna suck? It's just saying like, which one's the big thing? Offense it's fun to watch. It's fun. I mean, defense is fun to watch as a complement, in my opinion, to
Yes.
football. Like getting some sacks, getting some pressure, shutting them down. But this earlier, from earlier this week, I think we were talking. I forget the exact question. It might have been like if you could change history or something like that was one of the things that we debated. But that pass from P.J. Walker down in Atlanta last year, that kind of that was exciting, man. That was like you see him throw the ball and it's so deep and it's so far. You actually have like seconds to kind of be like, hey, look, he's throwing it. Hey, look, oh, and it's a long play and he catches it, scores, celebrates. It's awesome. I would much rather have an explosive offense than I would for a defense. What about you?
I 100% concur. And you just said it yourself, too. It's just exciting to watch. And I even, like, when you're talking about offense, right? The whole point of offense is to get people to watch the TV, get people glued to the TV because it's supposed to be, that's the whole, and that's the movement with the NFL now. Everything is being relaxed to where it benefits the offense over the defense with all these new rules and penalties and protecting the players. It is
running
favorite
backs not getting paid.
That part of it, that's a big conversation right there. And I know we'll be having that conversation at some point too. But people want to see scoring. And again, defense is a compliment. And, the saying, hey, offense wins games, defense wins championships. But you got to win the games first in order to get to the championship part of that equation. And part of doing that is having a really exciting offense. I mean, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Why are they must-see TV every weekend? Because you got guys like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce putting up all these points, and it just gives you a reason to watch the game, even though you may not have direct ties to Kansas City or you may not know all the players, yada, yada, yada. You're going to want to see players that put points on the board. This is not baseball where you see people swing and miss 90% of the time, and it's like,
you don't like baseball?
Oh, it's too slow. It is way too slow. And, you want to see action. That's what the NFL is about. It's action, and it's about the moment and prioritizing the moment and, that sense of urgency. That's why people love the NFL so much, and that's why I love high-powered offenses because it creates that sense of urgency and that feeling of, gosh, I have got to see it because I do not want to miss what they just did.
Yeah, and think about times you've been at games, you probably jump out of your seat, right? Typically on the defensive side, it's only if it's like a sack, and or if it's like a defensive moment that helps seal the game for you, right? Then you're like, yeah. Otherwise, I'm not saying they're boring by any means. Interceptions on the defensive side are great. But guess what? Interceptions are partially like an offensive thing, right? Because now we have the ball, and you want to see that return. So, yeah, football is definitely exciting to watch. In most sports, it's going to be the offensive part that people like. We got a question here from Shakid. I think he said he meant to type miscellaneous, but he says music question to both of you. Guys are excited, hype up about this team. Always excited about training camp about to start, as the fans are. So I'm going to be honest. For me, as a credentialed member of the media responsible for bringing you a lot of content, my excitement is not as high as yours because right now I'm trying to get a lot of moving parts in place, things that you guys don't see to make sure that we provide good content. Now, once I have all of that in place and we're executing and you guys are tuning in and watching, then yes, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, I go, man, that was great. But at the start of the day for me, again, I'm in charge of this good old operation over here. It's a lot of like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But the more I'm looking forward to it, the more pressure I'm putting on myself to get things together. And I got to get that taken care of first. What about you, Mr. Cassidy?
From the Andre fan perspective, absolutely 100%. This has been probably, in terms of excitement level and potential level, the highest it's been in at least 4 or 5 years. You're starting anew with, a pretty legitimate option at the most important position on the team. So, I mean, you have that answer there. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And there's just a lot of new faces, a new head coach, new quarterback, new skill position players. There's a lot of new ingredients being put together to make this big old piece of lasagna. Okay, I don't know why I'm thinking of lasagna right now, but the
I
ingredients
like
are there
lasagna.
for a nice
It's a lot of
baked
layers to
thing of
lasagna.
right? But I mean, yeah, I think the potential is there. And, like you said, Chris, the pressure is on us to make sure that we are accurately portraying the level of excitement and we're executing on all ends of the field. And that's, from the team perspective as well, they have to be feeling that as well, because, this is a big moment, a new era, if you will, because you're moving on from what took place over the past 3 years with Coach Rule and the musical chairs at quarterback. And there's a potential for some greatness to happen here,
Are you
but
still
we
mad
have
at
to be
Coach Matt
reasonable
Rule?
with our expectations. I don't want to name drop, I'm a pretty cordial guy, but I think we can all get what we're putting down there. But yeah, but the potential is there. The potential is there, but you got to be reasonable here with your expectations. Don't be going too crazy out there for all you who are listening.
Yeah, so each year, and hopefully I'll be able to do it again, I like to publish right after the preseason, before the regular season, what all the beat writers or credential member of the media think about, are we going to make the playoffs or not? Not what our record will be. I feel like that's a little specific, but are we going to make the playoffs or not? So look forward to that. I'm going to seek to get information from all the media people that I can, from locally. I'm not going to ask anybody from NFL Network, just the local guys and girls. I got to stop saying guys. That's just been so much part of my vernacular, but I got to be more politically correct. Let's see. Somebody help me come up with a new phrase. You guys just rolls off the tongue. I'm an old man. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and end up with a few more tidbits here. And if you
It'll
have,
come to you. Don't worry.
yeah, if you have some comments before we get off of here, please let me know. And if you want to join the show before we get off, I could take one caller. If you, again, look in the comments, you'll see a link, or it should be a comment that's pinned to the top for you all to join us. We go live for that reason, to interact with you. Very accessible people is what we try to be, all right? So let's go ahead and talk about this. Boom. Brian Burns contract status. Now, Andre, what did you think about the fact that there was an update and it didn't come from the media? It actually came from inside the Panthers organization about Brian Burns.
That's an interesting leak. Um, you know, for me, it's a very interesting situation because I feel like his contract is going to set the tone for the rest of the market. That's why I think they're trying to be tight-lipped as they can, but also they want to release some form of information about his situation to try to gauge the market, because I know there are a couple of other um, people who are going to be due for a contract. Is TJ Watt due for one soon with the
It's
Steelers?
either, is it Bosa? I think it might be
I know
Bosa
there's,
that's up.
yeah. So, you know, it's really interesting. The timing of it is just, it's really something, because I would think they would want to get this done before the start of training camp, but I don't know if that's going to be a realistic timeline, because I feel like if it were to be done, it probably would have been done already. But there is that interest, obviously, with Carolina to keep him. It's just the financial number that they're trying to figure out. But again, I think his contract is really going to set the tone for all these other contracts that are going to be coming due for a lot of these defensive linemen that are coming up over the next year or so. So they're being very careful. I could tell they're trying to walk this fine line of, hey, we want to keep him, but we also want to hear what other people think about us keeping him, and then what's the whole price tag idea, what's their frame of the numbers of everything. They're trying to be very meticulous with how they're phrasing things right now.
Yeah, but if you were to ask me, hey, do you think it will or will not get done? I say emphatically it will get done. Um, Fitterer has always been, to me, pretty cool, but very open about guys he's intending to sign. And Burns has been one of those guys So I think it's just a matter of time. So we'll see. We'll let you know when that happens. And let's go ahead and end with one more. Any guesses on what other contract we're going to talk about? 3, 2, 1. The rookie
Ooh,
that hasn't
I'm not
signed
sure.
his contract yet. Bryce
Bryce Young still hasn't?
Young
What?
signing his rookie
Wow.
deal. Yeah. He hasn't signed it.
Wow.
So here's the
I didn't
deal.
even know that.
Yeah, Bryce is not signed.
Wow.
I mean,
But Bojangles signed him.
both
Did you see
I
that?
kind of saw something, but I didn't have a chance to read it. Again,
Yeah.
my little guy is being active these days, taking up all my evening time.
Right.
What was it? Tell me real quick.
Yeah, I think this came out either this morning or yesterday. Bojangles has signed an endorsement deal with Bryce Young. There was a picture of him holding these bow boxes, and there had to be like three on each arm. I'm like, what the heck is this dude doing? He's got like three bow-size boxes on each of his arms, and he literally looks like a little kid with like this big old book bag trying to carry all of them. But nonetheless, yeah, he's got an endorsement deal already, which does not surprise me at all.
Bojangles.
And you can never go wrong with Bojangles. That's always a solid choice.
You know who I feel like I should have a contract from?
But yeah, that still blows my mind that he hasn't signed it.
I feel like I should have a contract from Morris Jenkins. Right? Why not?
Why you said that? Oh, I see. I see what you're putting down now.
Hey, but let's go ahead and talk about this. Bryce Young will sign his
I
contract
see.
between now and Tuesday. Why will he do that? Because he will not be able to practice on Wednesday if he does not have a contract. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. So there you have it. Breaking news. Bryce
Mm-hmm.
Young will sign his contract between today and Tuesday. Otherwise, he can't go to practice.
Let's
And
hope.
I don't think that either side would like that to happen. I don't think that Bryce Young would be tolerant of his agent telling him, like, man, what? Just give me more Bojangles endorsements. Let me get out there and play. So,
Right.
yeah, there's your update on Bryce Young. So that's going to take us through today's show. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Did I miss anything? Nah, I didn't.
I think we covered everything.
Panthers pickle. Hey,
Oh,
sorry I'm
what
at work, so I
up?
can only listen for a short time. Appreciate your Panthers pickle. Hey, man, you have the most comfortable looking lazy boy out there. So I know when you get home, you get to get some good rest, man. I like your lazy boy. And that's gonna be it for now. So we're gonna sign off. Tomorrow's show, let me know what you want that topic to be. I cannot stand wearing an earpiece that falls out. But yeah, let us know if you have any ideas for that topic for tomorrow. Uh, but so you can plan to see us here. I think it'll be 12 o'clock as well. But Andre, thanks for taking a moment to join me today. So I'm going to wrap this up because I got to run and go get the little one. So for Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins for CharlotteVibe.com. We'll see everybody shortly.